Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
Oh, how did I end up over there? The camera. All right, Bradshaw with you here. 1:30. It's Tuesday. Talking Monday, and I was okay with that. I was back in Ames with college friends over the weekend. When did college students start looking like 6-year-olds? Like, and these are the ones that are allowed to like go out, like into bars, and you got to be at least 17 or so to get a good fake ID for that. I don't know. Have you hit the time in your life? There's a time, because when you get back together with a bunch of old friends, it's, story time.
Sure.
I didn't even realize. At what point did it, stop becoming, we're making news stories here that we will never tell anyone? Like the heat went out at the North Pole. And you're simply reliving them. Like, at what age does that occur?
I don't know, but I have a couple friends that remind me of the guy from Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey's personality, where you're like, oh, you're the creepy guy in the Camaro, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't have any of the creepy guys in my my posse.
I've got a couple of them. They're still single and still trying to check out chicks and saying things like the sweet thing about high school girls is they stay the same.
Yeah, that guy should probably be on a watch list.
Yeah.
that
He might be.
Is he like... You ever like, no, where's that school at? No, I can't go there.
Yeah.
Does he ever pull that one on you?
No, but we've definitely been out and, talking to somebody that's like 18 years old and it's like, dude, you're 32, okay? You don't need to talk to an 18-year-old, but she's legal. And it's
is he a good puppeteer? Because Sesame Street looks like they're hiring. Did you hear about that?
I haven't heard that.
The puppeteer Elmo, like in a 16-year-old boy. Ooh. Like, what is it?
I always wondered about Elmo.
There's
now we know.
It's just all wangs these days, whether it's the head of Waffle House. You hear about that one? Sex scandal at Lockheed Martin. And, of course, what everyone's talking about is the General Petraeus affair. And you can use that term pretty much any way you want at this point. And I think the folks at Talking Points Memo kind of nailed it, that General David Petraeus, right, former general head of the CIA, having to step down over an affair, is by far the sanest person involved in this whole mess. So we'll get into that. See today, by the way, I got my phone book.
Your phone book?
Yeah, they dropped off phone books.
Oh.
I was very excited because I was watering my horse while using my telegraph to order tickets on a Zeppelin. I don't even remember the last time I used a phone book.
They dropped off 2 here, and I was actually trying to rip them in half to see if I could do it because that's as useful as they are.
Yeah,
By the time you want to call somebody in that, they've probably gone out of business and no longer at that number.
I'm just surprised the phone book company's still like. What do I need to do? Like, if I don't want telemarketing calls, right? There's
that 1-800 opt-out thing.
I can get on the do not call list.
That's
now legally emails have to come with an unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Button. You have to be careful. The really shady spammers just use that as data collection. So you got to know which ones to like. If it's from like Target or something, you hit the unsubscribe.
Yeah, you got to watch the. You just won $1 million.
Yeah,
unsubscribe from this email. And you're like,
don't do that for the British lottery or Spanish lottery ones.
I've got a lot of collected. They're my retirement plan though. I've got a couple dead uncles in Nigeria.
You too?
It's crazy.
How? Wow. What are the coincidences?
Millions of dollars, and all I got to do is transfer like $3,000 to pay for the transfer costs.
What scares me is, again, this is such a lucrative business. These 419 scams. That's what they're.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at the website 419 Eater?
No, I've never researched.
They play along. They don't send them, money, but they get them to, take pictures with their shoes on their heads, or they have, hold up a sign that says, I'm a giant, scamming butthead. And they trick these guys into kind of playing along because sure, this is it's what they do.
I've seen one where they do this on Craigslist to scammers on Craigslist.
Yeah, but it's a huge moneymaker. Like, there's a lot of money in being a Nigerian scammer, to the point now even people like here in the United States are aiding and abetting them.
Sure.
I mean, it's just absolutely insane.
I would not accept any form of payment that wasn't cash from those guys.
Well, it just like, oh, random email. It's I'm just so lucky. Or even at this point, who hasn't heard of these things?
The phishing scams were the ones that always kind of scared me, because you get something from your bank. Like, I got some from Wells Fargo. Thankfully, I didn't have Wells Fargo accounts, so I knew right away.
Then
But it looked like I went to Wells Fargo and looked at their login site. You would swear it. Now, I'm a smart enough web guy. I look to see where it's going.
Yeah, if you just mouse over the link, you'll see where it's headed. And a lot of times it's kind of a front over the regular website.
Yeah, it'll be like
there.
Wells Fargo login at, and then you got to look at where it's at .com, because it's what says.
But like now that I've told it, like a World of Warcraft account. I've never played, but
I tried to. I couldn't get it. I just didn't understand.
Like there's a black market for everything. You want to buy stolen credit card numbers? There are places online to do that. You want drugs, guns. Used to be one of the most popular things to sell were compromised credit cards. Like, someone could have your credit card details right now and not use it because that's not the game they play. They want to sell it to someone.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught using credit cards.
Yeah, but you can get, for each card, $5 to $10. You can actually get more money selling a compromised World of Warcraft account than you can a compromised credit card. Just because, well, one, they're valuable enough, and two, there's such a low likelihood of getting busted. I mean, if you want to use a stolen credit card, you got to go through a bunch of rigmarole.
Sure.
And you never know when there's going to be a group of postal inspectors there to pick up, that big screen TV you had delivered to the, unused house down the street, or, whatever scam they're doing these days.
And the post office doesn't play around.
Postal inspectors are some of the most badass on the face of the earth. They will nail your ass. They are far more competent, especially as we've learned in the last few days. CIA, FBI, don't mess with postal inspectors. They're the real deal.
Oh, yeah. No, I had some friends that worked for as clients that worked for the U.S. Postal System, and they actually go in and pad some of those money, like some of the envelopes that get delivered with money, and send them to the wrong addresses to see who will steal in the postal system. Like, because basically they're watching for the person at the end of the stream and the post office deliverer, and they'll like bait them and let them steal thousands of dollars, and make it not a petty crime, but like huge, really bad things.
Well, the thing about the postal inspectors that no one pays, the head of the FBI or the head of the CIA, these are inherently political positions. They're high profile. There's a lot of politics at work. Not so much in the postal inspection system. So imagine kind of that same due diligence without being glitzy, without being a political type office. I mean, those guys are just badasses, and they will nail your ass. The CIA, on the other hand, FBI, we're learning all sorts of fun new things, and this is the whole David Petraeus expose. Started last week. It was just out of the blue. Friday afternoon. It was in the middle of the show. I was like, hey, David Petraeus stepping down. Affair. And we were talking about it at the time on Friday, and I was like, oh, God, they don't really... I mean, I understand in state secret angles, you don't want people that are blackmailable. Like when they do, like,
yeah, but
this is what trips people up when they have like background
investigations
for like security clearance. They're not looking to see, did you smoke some weed in high school, or did you download a million MP3s off the internet? That's not the stuff they care about. Are you in crazy debt? This is one of the things they always looked at, because you were, I guess, more likely to sell bomb secrets to, the Soviet Union to pay off your debt? Are you, that sort of thing. So an affair, especially for a high-ranking official, could be a serious, blackmailable offense. But that didn't seem to be the case. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just run out and immediately cited affair. Again, if you're going to step down, there's always the old caveat to spend more time with my family. Or, the unspecified health reasons. That's always a good one to use. But in this case, it was just, boom, affair. And I did get immediately, like before I was even off the air on Friday. This took like 20, 30 minutes. It was boom, boom, boom. Right-wing conspiracy theories. It's funny because it's the only thing they have these days. It's not just the idiots from Glenbeckistan. Although I noted this earlier, and I'm not going to link it, but I have to give credit. Glenn Beck's website, The Blaze?
I'm familiar with it, yes.
I admire their dedication.
It's also called Sean Hannity's new news source.
No, Hannity's still a Drudge Report guy. I know this firsthand.
He quotes so much crap off The Blaze anymore. It's ridiculous.
But I have to give credit to The Blaze for working. I guess the Victoria's Secret fashion show was on. There was something involving Native Americans. And only the folks at The Blaze could turn a story about a controversy over women's underwear into a political, snide attack on Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. So, kudos. The level of dedication that's almost scary. But they managed to pull it off. And they wonder why right-wingers are so misinformed. I talked about this last week, and it may come up in the future. This conservative entertainment / news. On the Sunday shows, they were kind of throwing Rush under the bus. So, of course, he comes back with the vitriol. But these are people just consistently, lied to, fed misinformation, fed paranoia. And we're surprised that it comes back in the form of, everything's a conspiracy. And they're out to get us. And, gun sales and permit requests are shooting up already. Because this time, Obama's coming to get our guns. Unlike last time, false alarm, these things happen. It's now. So now we have to prepare. How many states are talking about secession? I did like someone at the White House website, that YouGov, actually started a petition to allow, let Texas secede. So now we're getting it from the North and the South. Where is General Sherman when we need him? The funny thing about the Petraeus affair is that it looks like it was a right-wing nut job that really started this ball rolling. Now, if you're confused by this whole chain of events, congratulations. Everyone else is too. It keeps morphing and adding new generals to the list. What started it was this woman, Jill Kelly, who was like an unofficial social liaison. I wasn't even aware this was a thing that existed. With the military, was allegedly friendly with then General David Petraeus, the mastermind of the Iraqi surge, which help a bunch of Iraqis kill a bunch of other Iraqis and stop killing us. Okay, I guess, cool. Try to do the same thing in Afghanistan. A superstar general in the mold of a MacArthur or a Patton. And as all too often happens, these superstar generals reach and grasp issues come in. Because Petraeus was someone who was talked about as a potential candidate for the presidency in 2016. The Republicans, I guess since the great hope of Colin Powell has passed. And at the very least, he was a long shot to run for president, but at the very least, he would be on everyone's short list for VP. But it was a right-wing nut job that did him in. And I guess you got to go back decade 2006. Paula Broadwell, the woman who is accused of being a bit touched in the head and being touched by General Petraeus. He addressed her graduate school colleagues at Harvard. 2 years later, she began a PhD in war studies and worked with Petraeus on it. He was giving her access. She went to Kabul. They would jog together. I guess he was involved with her dissertation. When he left the Army, went to the CIA. She wrote, "All in the Education of David Petraeus." Somewhere along the lines, this Broadwell gets wind of Jill Kelly and starts sending her angry emails, accusing, I guess, of impropriety on her impropriety. Is that the way to describe this? Then this Jill Kelly, who was an interesting character of herself. Turns out she's been sued, she and her husband, 9 times. They're millions of dollars in debt. Contacts someone at the FBI about these threatening emails that weren't actually, it wasn't like I'm going to, rip your weave out, or I'm going to shoot you or stab you, or, I'm going to hurt you or anything like that. So the FBI was like, there's really nothing concrete in here. And as someone who's gone through one of these investigations, it takes a pretty specific threat to get law enforcement involved, let alone the FBI. And this thing was almost dead and buried until this FBI agent, who was also sending topless pictures of himself to Jill Kelly. She's the liaison character. A little fixated with her. He is not part of the cyber crimes unit at the FBI. He's not got anything involving, computer issues. So he's like, okay, this isn't your concern. You're not part of this. He wasn't invited to the briefings. So this guy, as a right-wing nutter, continued to, what was the term they used? Nose around the case. At which point he was told to, quote, stay the hell away from it. When hearing this shirtless FBI agent believed that because of his worldview, the case installed and had been a cover-up. So he went to his congressman, who went to Eric Cantor on October 31st to tell him of the agent's concerns. At that point, well, you have the number 2 guy in the House of Representatives, one of the most powerful men in America, coming and saying, what is this about a Petraeus investigation? Why are you stonewalling it to protect President Obama? I would have paid good money to have been in on that meeting or listened in on that phone call. Because I can only imagine, because I assume he's talking with Robert Mueller, head of the FBI at this point. You don't give you don't give the House Majority Leader, right, to some flunky. He doesn't get the third in command. He gets to talk to the FBI director, who's probably dumbfounded by this whole affair. But because this right-wing nut job believed that there was some conspiracy afoot to, silence conservatives, protect Obama, or whatever, now this whole thing it had to move forward. I got to give him credit, though. Petraeus and this Broadwell. Did you know about this? This is apparently a thing where you don't send emails to one another because that creates a paper trail. Anyone who's ever worked in an office understands. Paper trail.
Everybody knows you put them in
trail.
your draft box because that's how terrorists do it.
I had no idea this.
Well, you're not a terrorist.
But no, I think I'm pretty down with it when it comes to the internet.
But now everybody knows how to do it because the Washington Post, where I just learned that, told me so.
So you never heard of this either?
No, that's the first I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, this is a thing.
I'm literally reading the Washington Post while you're talking. In
any sort of corporate or office sense, the most powerful force in the world actually is nepotism. But a close number 2 is the paper trail, right? How many times we've all done it where Microsoft Outlook has saved our behinds. No, actually, on October 14th, you said that it's the most powerful force in the universe, other than nepotism.
That's what Gmail's for, anonymous email.
No, that's what they were using.
Oh, was it Gmail?
They were using Gmail, and here's how they did it. They would write an email, save it in the draft folder, then the other person would log into the account, see and read the draft, which could then be, I assume, deleted. So instead of sending an email, it was just left there. Genius. I had never heard of this before. I thought I was, street smart and savvy.
That was the first time I ever heard of it.
Yeah, to things on the internet. I had no idea this was a thing, but apparently it's relatively well known.
Email just changed as we know it. I
guess this has been going on forever now.
Yeah.
I doubt the terrorist invented this.
No, but I bet they start changing it now. I bet they find some way that's not going to work.
Well, if you figure like something like Dropbox or something would be the way to go, or SkyDrive or iCloud to be easier to.
If besides the obvious, just don't have extramarital affairs.
Well, now that would be the obvious, but let's
be real.
As time moves forward,
yeah, let's be real. You would think that people would realize everything they do electronically is there forever.
Yeah, there's no such thing as unsend on the internet, and. Yeah, we've already had congressmen have to resign for Craigslist postings. I just wonder who will be the first candidate to drop out because of something they posted on their MySpace when they were 19.
Well,
it's got to happen.
You would just think people that are setting up their lives to do these offices would just keep their nose clean.
But they never will. They never have.
I know, but it's just so silly. Here's an opportunity to be something bigger than yourself, and you're screwing it up for a chick that's not that much better looking than your wife. I mean,
and then the whole the Jill Kelly thing. So there's 2 women. There's even another general, and we'll get to that after the break. They were looking into this Jill Kelly gal and found that she had been conversing less than appropriately with a man who's set to be in charge of NATO, and his
he
confirmation
has his old job.
Yeah, but he's moving up. In fact, I believe his confirmation is today.
Probably not anymore.
But they said 20 to 30,000 pages of 20 to 30,000 pages of correspondence.
Do you have any idea how long it takes to have email sex? It's ridiculous.
No, I don't.
Well,
I
neither,
have a pretty state of the art computer. I don't have an input for that. I mean, is that USB 3? Is that Firewire or Thunderbird or Night Train, whatever we're calling these things? I mean, this whole thing is just a convoluted triangle of mess. I'll try to lay it out when we come back, maybe in pictograph form. It is just such an amazing series of events that by the day grows. I think it was Craig Robbins said, by the end of the day, Nancy Sebring will probably be involved in this whole affair. And then we'll also talk about what this says about how easy it is to get in, for the FBI to get into your emails, look at all your stuff, how little provocation it really takes. And it's funny, for all the right wing. Remember the right wing. If you don't have anything to hide, why do you got to worry about it? Talking about, surveillance, in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah, but
And
that wasn't
took
a
down
real
one
popular...
of their rising. It was absolutely popular on there. Dude, you had no idea the hell that I caught for simply saying that you should have a warrant to look through someone's stuff.
You should.
But we even taking into account realities of the world. And I'm fine with this, the old FISA law. This was something Carter set up in the late 70s. Said you can start your wiretapping. You can start, tapping phones and looking through stuff immediately if that's what you need. Our requirement is you can then go to a judge. You have 72 hours. You have 3 days to then go back to a FISA court, which was a secret, court with a judge, and justify the need for wiretapping, and you can get a retroactive warrant. I'm fine with that. I thought that was a very good, again, measuring reality, with this perfect world. I thought that was a good measure. But we learned, shortly after 9/11, the minute some of those warrants...
Actually, I take that back, though. It's quite an upgrade from his wife. I just saw a picture of his wife.
Neither here nor there. Irrelevant.
It is. There's no morality thing there that I'm trying to push.
What happened after 2001 is some of those retroactive warrants were denied. Well, then how do we get around this whole process? And that's how we ended up with warrantless wiretapping and almost complete surveillance state, where, drop of a hat. That seems like probable cause. Go look through his bank records. Hopefully that's one of the things that comes into this discussion at some point. I know we as Americans love a good sex scandal. We love, even more than a good sex scandal, is to see powerful people fall. That's why this site, or that's why this story is so wide. But I think there's a bunch of angles that aren't quite as sexy, that have their tops on, if you will, that probably need to be talked about too. So I'll try to lay out the whole map when we come back. What do you think? Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. And just go to thebradshawshow.com for almost all of your Bradshaw needs. Anything else? Just send it to generalpetraeus@gmail.com. No. I don't want to end up on a list, too. All right, it's Bradshaw here on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Back after this.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician.
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's got to be, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
It's time to start.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
There we go. All right, 201 Bradshaw with you here on a, better than it's been Tuesday afternoon in the capital city. Phone number, and all are welcome. Most aren't capable. 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Just go to thebradshawshow.com for almost all of your Bradshaw needs. I gotta admit, it's been kind of fun checking out the various right-wing news sites. Now, they've had a rough week. Probably not really in any position to deal. You've seen Beetlejuice, Dan, right? When Lydia calls forth Beetlejuice because Otho's doing the exorcism. This is the point where the Maitlands have had enough. All right, we just need to send them. That the right wing is like the Maitlands. They've had enough. Time to let the adults handle this. So as much as I enjoy the Benghazi conspiracy theories, or maybe my favorite, blaming this affair, the whole Petraeus, General Allen, shirtless FBI. You know whose fault this all is, right? It's Elizabeth Warren's. Did you know this?
That was going to be my second guess. I was going to blame it on George Soros first.
If she hadn't pulled Holly Petraeus away with this, Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, none of this would have happened. So it's Elizabeth Warren's fault. I thought the Blaze invoking her in a women's underwear controversy was way out there. And it can be forgiven in this one instant. Like I said, they have bigger issues. But just looking at I'm trying to literally follow a roadmap.
I'll almost bet money at some point George Soros is ultimately at the bottom of it.
No.
They'll work it in.
The Benghazi thing seems to be their fixation.
But they'll work Soros into that too. I'm sure he funded the whole thing.
But it's literally like a flow chart. Starts with Paula Broadwell. All right. She is the, first student of, later biographer and lover of David Petraeus. She getting a little possessive because when a man has a wife, I guess you can still claim that she's yours. Back in May, starts sending harassing emails to this Jill Kelly, who had previously been receiving shirtless photos from, so far, an unnamed FBI agent. When this object of affection says, I need a favor, man, he takes that ball and runs with it. Goes to the FBI Cyber Crimes Division, who said, we don't think this is something worth investigating. This isn't a crime. There's no imminent threats here. He takes that as a conspiracy to save Obama and goes to, at the end, Dave Reichert and Eric Cantor, who then goes to the head of the FBI, and next thing you know, cluster, blah, blah, blah. So here comes the investigation. Petraeus and Broadwell admit to it. And funny thing, when looking into Jill Kelly, they find 20 to 30,000 pages of emails between her and General John Allen. But Petraeus' whole job and is set to be, get a step up and go to NATO. I mean, if I wrote this as a story arc on like Homeland, I would be laughed out of the pitch meeting. Somewhere, Carrie's sleeping with someone. This is almost like Archer level of wackadoodleness. It's just mind-boggling. Bernard Fennell for Balloon Juice does a very good sum because yes, it's very easy to fixate on the lurid, whether it's the multiple affairs or 20,000 emails or shirtless FBI agents, right-wing conspiracy theorist FBI agents. We want to give credit where credit is due. But does a really good, look kind of behind this. Petraeus was one of her dissertation advisors. Paula Broadwell we're talking about here. And her dissertation is about him, so I guess that makes sense. Gets her access as a reporter in Afghanistan, even though she has no journalistic background or connection to any journalist sort. Maybe she's like the new Jeff Gannon. Remember him? Did you ever hear that story? It was back in the old Bush days. Former male escort, current male escort, Jeff Gannon, was given a press pass and would attend White House briefings. And magically, when things would start to get tough as far as questioning goes, he would always get called on to give some sort of, softball question. So maybe she's the new Jeff Gannon. But now, yesterday, the FBI goes and searches this Paula Broadwell's house. I mean, this is, again, how do you even explain this? It's so convoluted, and A goes to B, goes to C, goes to D, goes to E. I mean, it's amazing. But at the end of the day, this Paula Broadwell giving a public talk. Claims that the CIA annex that was attacked on September 11th wasn't just an annex, by the way. It was a prison. It was a clandestine prison in violation of presidential executive order. So this story will get bigger. Now, again, they have to rewind even further to the House oversight hearings into the Benghazi affair on the September 11th attack. Remember when live on national television, Darrell Issa, Jason Chaffetz, basically outed a CIA annex. As the State Department was showing off the map of the Benghazi area, like here's the consulate, they immediately start freaking out. Because what the State Department official had been talking around, they decided to absolutely zero in on and make a point, basically, coming short of just outright saying, that is CIA and we were told not to talk about it. That right there. Again, at some point you just got to, be cool, soda pop. All right? They lack this ability. And it turns out, yes, there was a CIA annex there. according to Paula Broadwell, and this is where the investigation again takes a turn from the sexy time to WTF territory. She claims that that was a holding facility. Now, again, I guess we could quibble over definitions here. Like, if we set up a space to hold some suspected, bad actors in the Benghazi area, does that make it a prison, or is that just a convenient, holding place short term? So, we can squabble over that. But her claims is that it's basically one of those, black ops prison sites. And then the question is, how does she know this? And did she have access to classified intel? Because if anyone on Earth would know exactly what was going on there, would be the head of the CIA, the aforementioned General retired David Petraeus, who she had been trading emails with. And then you go back to the trick we had talked about, which I'd never heard of giving, basically 2 accounts with the password and just saving drafts. So I'd write a draft, save it, log out. She would then log in and read that draft and respond. That way there's no paper trail of an email being sent. But what else was in that email? Were they just using Gmail accounts? Was there more at work? Was she looking over his shoulder when he was doing official, business? I mean, it's crazy, left, right, and even with all of this, you literally need a flow chart to follow it all. I'm guessing, the reality of it may never come out. When you have, you have the FBI, you have the CIA, you have the military. I don't know if you're aware of this. Not exactly the 3 most forthcoming institutions